Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if it's the first time you're visiting. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you have not already guessed by the title, today I'm going to be talking about 5 intoxicating fragrances. And these are fragrances that I find truly addictive in my collection. So if you like the sound of that, then please do keep on watching. Now, I don't know about you, but me personally, I find quite a lot of fragrances in my collection truly intoxicating / addictive, because I don't want to own fragrances that I'm not obsessed with personally. So I would say there is a good chunk of my collection that are intoxicating to me anyway. And these are fragrances that just have me swooning. I have to sometimes just go to the collection, open the cabinet door and just sniff it from the bottle because I love them that much. So the first fragrance in question that I want to discuss is by a brand that I absolutely love, and it is Sora. And this time I'm going to be talking about Orchidée Rouge. And this one, not that it was a slow burner per se, but it didn't steal my attention as quick as Mandorle did from the collection. However, I have become truly obsessed with Orchidée Rouge. I said that it was second place / in a close first place tie with Mandorle, but I've been reaching for this one so much recently. It is truly intoxicating and it just smells like an ultra gorgeous, sweet gourmand, but it has such special nuances and it's not too in your face. I have it on my hand and I've been truly enjoying this one, especially in the cooler climates, because it just gives me a pick-me-up moment and it makes me very hungry, to be quite honest. And that is probably because it has almond milk, it has caramel, it's very vanillic, a little bit balsamic too, and it does also have a boozy note. I believe it is rum in this composition. But yeah, Orchidée Rouge is kind of like a silent assassin in a way, because like I said, it is a gourmand and it is an ultra delicious gourmand, but it is not too in your face, and that is what I love about it, because it's not overpowering in any way. It's like tonic, but this time it goes in the almond milk direction. It definitely has a hefty dose of caramel. The vanilla note is very prominent too, but then it has a gorgeous musk that really grounds this fragrance and makes it truly addictive. There are florals in here too. I believe it has heliotrope and ylang, and it has a little bit of citrus and cinnamon, but what I mostly get from it is an almond milk, kind of vanillic, caramel, slightly boozy fragrance. I would highly recommend getting a sample of Orchidée Rouge if you like the sound of the notes. And in general, I would highly recommend getting a discovery kit of Sora, because I talk about their fragrances quite a lot, and I have 3 in my collection right now, and all 3 of them I think are absolutely amazing. So if you want a more soft gourmand, which is still giving you all the feels and it's going to be truly addictive, that's going to keep you going back for more, then Orchidée Rouge might just be for you. Next up is the vanilla fragrance I didn't know I needed in my life until recently, and it is by Initio, and it is Absolute Aphrodisiac. And a lot of people really love this fragrance, and I do have a little bit of story time with it, and I've spoken about it in a previous video, but I didn't like this the first time I tried it, and I think I had a dodgy sample because it wasn't an official sample from Initio. It was a decant that I bought online. However, I then went to a department store, it was Selfridges in Manchester, smelt this one, and I was like, wow, I have been missing out on this. It is the most gorgeous vanilla fragrance, but it has this sensual, almost stanky vibe to it, which is very appealing, very intoxicating, and you are definitely going to get noticed wearing this one. It absolutely garners all of the compliments, and I can't speak highly enough about Absolute Aphrodisiac. So what I mostly get from the composition is it is a very gooey and sticky vanilla fragrance. It kind of has a caramel vibe to it as well. There's a little bit of white florals in here. There's definitely a musk throughout, which I think is what's giving it that sensual vibe. It does have a tad little bit of leather, but I do not notice it, to be quite honest with you. And then it has the animalic note of castoreum, which is where I think that stank comes from. But don't let that put you off, because it is just so sexy. I've described it as being like a fragrance you've been wearing, you've got hot and sweaty, and this is what's left on your skin, and it just is really appealing to me. Another way of describing it is you were wearing this on a night out, and then you've put on somebody's shirt from the night before, or maybe your own shirt from the night before, and it's left with this vanillic scent, but it's gone slightly musky and a little bit stanky. I'm probably not selling it to you here, but I promise you, it is really sexy. But do try this before you buy, because I think the castoreum note could put some people off if they're not expecting that element from the fragrance. But this is definitely a fragrance that will attract other people. And to be quite honest, like, I am super attracted to it. Of course, it's in this intoxicating list. So the second fragrance is by Initio, and it is Absolute Aphrodisiac. The third fragrance I want to talk about is by M.Micallef, and this one is Ylang in gold. And this comes in two different types of packaging. So I believe this is the limited edition one, so it's opaque and then it has the gold leaf, but you can also get the clear bottles that have the shimmer running throughout. And I think both options are stunning. Now, this is a fragrance that I didn't think I would like on paper. When I first read the notes online and I heard other people talking about it, saying how much they loved it, I was like, I don't think I'm going to enjoy it because it's got a heavy dose of Ylang Ylang. The name's Ylang in gold, of course it does. And the other notes weren't really appealing to me. It has sage, it has rosemary, it has lots of fruits, it has mint. And I just didn't think I would like it. Well, boy, was I wrong. This is the tropical scent that I didn't know I needed in my life. And every time I smell it, I am transported to the most beautiful tropical beach, and I am truly addicted to this scent. This is another one that I go to my fragrance cabinet, I just open it up and smell it from the bottle because I love it that much. Now, I wouldn't necessarily wear this all year round. However, spring, summer, this has my name on it, and I would totally take this on a vacation too. But what I mostly get from this is almost like a banana pina colada. And there's no banana listed within the note breakdown, but I definitely get a banana note from it. It's on my arm. It is so yummy. I need a drink that tastes like this right now, or maybe some kind of candy or cake. It does have a lychee note, and I definitely pick that out within the composition. And I maybe get a little bit of the mint, but don't let the sage and the rosemary put you off, because it just is the most beautifully blended fragrance. It's going to leave you smelling like a tropical goddess. So aside from all the fruity notes, the base is where this gets really interesting. So you have a hefty dose of coconut, which is why it probably gives me a pina colada type of vibe. But then you also have musk and oak moss. So the dry down is absolutely beautiful. You're still getting that nice fruitiness. So I'm still picking out that kind of banana-y note and the lychee note. But then you're left with Ylang Ylang, coconut, vanilla and musk, to my nose anyway. And I just think it is very, very special, truly intoxicating to me, and I find it very, very addictive. And I'd love to know what you think about M.Micallef's Ylang in gold. Do you own a bottle, or have you sampled it before? And if so, what are your thoughts? Because I would be really interested to know that. And again, this is one I would highly recommend getting a sample of, plus also Note Vanille by M.Micallef. So yeah, this is the third fragrance that I find truly addictive. The next fragrance in this list is by Perla, and nope, it is not Possibilities. I spoke about that in another top 5 intoxicating fragrances list. This time I'm talking about Let the Dance Begin. And this one was my second place Perla fragrance, and now it is definitely in joint place with Possibilities. They're very different fragrances in my opinion. Let the Dance Begin is very cozy, very comforting, but also very date night appropriate. The reason I find this truly addictive and intoxicating is because it has a hefty dose of cardamom, which is a note I truly, truly love, but a very gorgeous, cozy, gourmand edge with that tonka bean in there. And the tonka bean really grounds this and makes this such a cuddle up fragrance. If you wear this, or if your loved one wears this, or if you're on a date and somebody is wearing this, you're going to want to cuddle and get right into their neck. It also has a hefty dose of caramel in there, and when you combine that with the tonka bean, with the cardamom, it's also got cinnamon and rose. it makes this for a completely intoxicating fragrance that I think is going to hypnotize anyone that smells you. And that's just my personal thoughts on how I feel about this fragrance. I definitely find possibilities intoxicating too. I guess I would expect a brand such as Perla, that is a sexy lingerie brand, to create such addictive, intoxicating fragrances. It does make sense to me. But yeah, the fourth fragrance on my list is Let the Dance Begin by Perla. And the fifth fragrance I want to talk about is by Nuit Nomade, and this is Ambre Kaja. And this is such a gorgeous, kind of potent, strong fragrance. And if you love a plum note and if you like a sticky and resinous fragrance, then this one is probably going to be for you. And you've heard me speak about Nuit Nomade quite a lot on my channel because this is such a fabulous niche brand. I think it's more affordable than a lot of brands on the market, and you do have lots of different size options. Something else I really enjoy about the brand is the fact that you can buy the fragrances without the outer box packaging and save yourself a little money. But anyway, let's talk about the fragrance and why I think it's so intoxicating. So Ambre Kaja is a very gooey, resinous and rich plum fragrance. It has so much depth to it, completely unisex, but it's gonna leave people in a trance if they smell you. And when you get a waft of this in the air, it does leave the most gorgeous trail. I actually had this on my hand this morning because I was testing it a little bit more, and I just walked past my fiance in the kitchen and he was like, wow, what are you wearing? It smells amazing. And it was Ambre Kaja. You get a dense fruitiness from this composition, which is the plum note. It's almost like a dried and sticky plum, but then you definitely get that kind of amber, resinous benzoin base. A hefty dose of vanilla, but it's not like a sweet vanilla. It's more like a spicy Middle Eastern vanilla fragrance. I love that the orris note gives this a slight earthiness, and then you've got the beautiful freshness from the Ylang. This does have a very prominent note of patchouli, but I feel like it's balanced so beautifully with that strong plum note up top. I truly feel that Ambre Kaja is such a gorgeous and transportative fragrance. If you like your benzoin kind of amber rich fragrances and you like the sound of that sticky plum note, then I would highly recommend getting a sample of this one. You can get discovery sets from Nuit Nomade, and I believe you can order single samples too. And like I said, they do them in multiple sizes. But this is a truly intoxicating fragrance. Great price point for a niche quality fragrance. And this is the last fragrance that I wanted to talk about. So I hope you enjoyed this list. I did want to keep it to 5 fragrances only, and I will do an updated version of this list maybe every 2 to 3 months because like I said, I have so many intoxicating, addictive fragrances in my collection. Plus, I'm going to continue to collect new fragrances. But what I really want to know is, were there any fragrances that stood out to you within my list? Maybe you love them, maybe you don't like them, but please do just let me know down in the comments. Most importantly, however, I want to know what fragrances you find truly intoxicating and addictive. You already know this, but I go out my way to research your recommendations, and I often do purchase either samples or full-size bottles of those recommendations too. You all have amazing taste, so let me just put that out into the world. Please keep sending those recommendations my way. But thank you so much for watching. I'd really appreciate it if you could subscribe to my channel, of course only if you enjoy my content. Plus, please feel free to join me over on Instagram. I've popped my handle on the screen below. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope to see you all in a video to come. Have a wonderful day and see you next time.